My name is Olivia Sterling, and I'm 36. I'm the Chief Strategy Officer at Sterling Ventures. Most people see me as competent, a solid executive. They don't see me as the owner. Last week, I went to dinner with my family. Ethan, my younger brother, was there, boasting about a deal he was almost closing. My parents, as usual, praised him. Then my mother turned to me and said, "Olivia, maybe you should ask Ethan for advice on the real business world." The sting, still sharp. They don't know that I built Sterling Ventures from the ground up. They think I'm just an employee. They don't know my net worth is north of $500 million. They don't know I launched 2 tech startups before Ethan even graduated college. It started in Austin, at UT. I was a hustler working multiple jobs. Ethan, he lived off our parents. They never understood my drive, my need to prove myself. I decided then I'd build my empire quietly, away from their judgments. They're always underestimating me. It's been my secret weapon. The pivotal moment? Freshman year. Ethan got a new sports car, courtesy of our parents. I was juggling 3 part-time gigs, barely scraping by. I remember the conversation vividly. "Olivia," my mother said, her voice laced with pity, "why don't you ask Ethan for some pointers? He's got the knack for business." The words sliced, igniting a fire. That day, I vowed to build something they couldn't touch, couldn't understand. The decision to conceal everything was a conscious choice. I saw the way money warped their perception of Ethan. His every whim was catered to, every failure excused. I understood then that revealing my success would invite scrutiny, jealousy, and demands I wasn't willing to entertain. I wanted to be judged on my merits, not on the size of my bank account. So, I started small, investing my savings in a fledgling tech startup. My early struggles were invisible to them. Late nights, ramen dinners, the constant grind of building something from nothing. They saw me as a diligent student, nothing more. When my first startup, Innovate Solutions, secured its first round of funding, I didn't tell a soul in my family. I remember thinking, they'd just say I was lucky. The first success was a deliberate secret. Innovate Solutions sold for $20 million. I could have splashed out, bought a house, a car, anything. Instead, I reinvested, setting up holding companies and trusts. The fear of them wanting a cut or judging the deal. I didn't want it. I wanted to prove myself, not through their approval, but through my own ambition. I started my second company, Synergy Tech, immediately after. A different sector, a different challenge. It was sold for $120 million. Both companies built in the shadows. Ethan, meanwhile, was still trying to find his path. He was always asking me for advice. I would give him the basics, making sure he didn't know what I was doing. He was always playing the hero, talking big while accomplishing nothing. And now, here I am. I've been made Chief Strategy Officer. It's a step up, a promotion, but Ethan's been acting strange. He's been whispering with our parents, giving me the stink eye. He's been saying things like, "She doesn't deserve this." He's making it clear he wants my job. My suspicions are now confirmed. Ethan's jealousy was a festering wound, erupting into a full-blown infection. He began his campaign with subtle jabs, spreading rumors about my management style and questioning my strategic vision to the board. Then came the anonymous dossier. It arrived via secure courier, detailing fabricated instances of financial impropriety and alleged instances of professional incompetence. Each meticulously crafted lie was designed to dismantle my reputation, to erode my credibility. The irony was brutal. He was trying to sabotage the empire he unknowingly benefited from. He was, in essence, biting the hand that fed him. The board meeting was set for next week, a special session hastily convened under the guise of addressing urgent concerns. I spent the weekend preparing, meticulously documenting every transaction, every investment, every strategic decision. I knew Ethan was aiming for a hostile takeover, a power grab fueled by resentment and entitlement. I had to be ready. I needed to make sure I was in control. My net worth, I calculated, had reached $587 million, spread across various private equity holdings, real estate in 3 states, and a diverse portfolio of blue-chip stocks. Sterling Ventures, the jewel in my crown, generated over $200 million in annual revenue, with a profit margin consistently above 25%. The Austin skyline, visible from my office window, served as a silent witness to my achievements. I had built an infrastructure of holding companies and shell corporations designed to shield my true ownership. Ethan, in his bluster, had never even scratched the surface of my true influence. He was playing a game he didn't know the rules of. I reviewed the audio recordings I'd collected, snippets of Ethan's conversations with various board members, his boasts of taking control, and his disparaging remarks about my supposed lack of vision. The recordings were damning. They were the smoking gun, the definitive proof of his treachery. I had strategically placed trusted allies on the board, individuals who knew the full extent of my ownership. They would act as my anchors, ensuring the meeting went according to my plan. During our weekly family dinners, Ethan would often discuss his deal, claiming his success was the key to the company's success. He'd ask for my opinion, completely unaware that I was the one giving him his direction. I'd bite my tongue, offer vague compliments. The frustration bubbled just below the surface. The charade was starting to wear thin. The approaching meeting was a powder keg. The day before the meeting, I received a text from my mother. "Ethan is so proud of you. We are so proud. We are so lucky to have him in the family." The message was meant to be a knife. I deleted it without a response. It just made me stronger. The stage was set. The players were in place. The grand revelation was imminent. Ethan, my family, and the board members were about to get the shock of their lives. The mahogany doors of the Sterling Ventures boardroom creaked open, revealing a scene of hushed anticipation. Sunlight streamed through the panoramic windows, illuminating dust motes dancing in the air, reflecting the tension that crackled in the room. Ethan, a smug grin plastered on his face, gestured towards the head table, where I sat, my expression carefully neutral. He had orchestrated this, the anonymous dossier, the hastily convened meeting, the carefully crafted narrative of my impending downfall. My parents sat beside him, their faces a mixture of curiosity and thinly veiled disdain. They were anticipating the unveiling of my failings. My father had been so proud of Ethan's actions and would soon be celebrating my failure. The board members, a collection of seasoned professionals, fidgeted in their seats, their gazes darting between me and Ethan. They knew something was amiss, the undercurrent of animosity between us, the hushed whispers that had circulated in the hallways, but they didn't know the whole story, not yet. "Let's begin," Ethan announced, his voice dripping with false authority. He cleared his throat, the sound echoing in the silent room. "As you know, there have been concerns regarding the Chief Strategy Officer." He paused, his eyes locking with mine. Olivia's performance, specifically. He was enjoying this. He had spent years building up to this moment. He gestured to the dossier, a thick stack of paper that sat in front of each board member. "This document," he continued, his voice taking on a dramatic tone, "presents irrefutable evidence of mismanagement, financial irregularities, and a blatant disregard for the company's strategic direction." I remained silent, letting him build his case, letting the tension mount. I knew the board members well enough to understand their motivations. I had carefully chosen each one. As Ethan launched into his carefully rehearsed presentation, detailing the fabricated accusations, I leaned back in my chair, a subtle smile playing on my lips. I was ready. I waited for the right moment. I picked up a small, antique music box, a gift from my grandmother, a symbol of the quiet strength I had inherited. I opened it, and the delicate melody of Clair de Lune filled the room, a counterpoint to Ethan's histrionics. I let the music play, each note a calculated breath before the storm. I waited, letting the anticipation reach its peak. It was time to pull the rug out from under them. This was my moment. "Before we proceed," I said, my voice calm and clear, cutting through Ethan's rehearsed speech like a scalpel. The room fell silent, every eye now fixed on me. Ethan's smug expression faltered, a flicker of confusion crossing his face. My parents shifted uncomfortably in their seats. "I believe there's been a misunderstanding," I continued, my gaze sweeping across the faces of the board members. "A fundamental one." I placed the music box back on the table, the melody fading into the background. I reached for the remote control and clicked. A large screen behind me flickered to life, displaying a complex organizational chart. The Sterling Ventures logo shone prominently at the top. Then, with a single click, a line appeared, connecting the logo to a smaller box at the bottom. It read, "Olivia Sterling Majority Owner." Gasps rippled through the room. Ethan's jaw dropped. His face was a mask of disbelief, his carefully constructed narrative collapsing around him. My mother's hand flew to her mouth, her eyes wide with shock. My father's face turned a shade of red. What is this?" Ethan stammered, his voice barely above a whisper. He looked from the screen to me, his eyes searching for an explanation, a reason why he was wrong. "This," I said, my voice laced with steel, "is the truth." I then played the audio recordings. Ethan's voice, loud and clear, filled the room. His manipulative conversations, his boasts of taking control, his disparaging remarks. The board members shifted uncomfortably in their seats. The air in the room thickened with a mixture of shame, anger, and disbelief. The carefully crafted facade of Ethan's success crumbled. The whispers, the underestimation, the deliberate exclusion, all were laid bare for the world to see. I watched Ethan's face contort with a mixture of rage and humiliation. My parents remained stunned, their faces a study of shock and recognition, as the depth of my achievement was revealed. You lied," Ethan finally managed, his voice cracking. "No, Ethan," I said, my voice flat. "I didn't lie. I simply chose not to share." I leaned forward, my gaze fixed on his. "For years, I've built this company, this empire in the shadows, and you, my dear brother, were busy trying to steal it." The room was in chaos. Whispers, shouts, and the scrape of chairs filled the room. I saw the board members, who had previously underestimated me, now scrambling to adjust their allegiances, their faces etched with a mixture of regret and respect. Ethan's face was red with rage. "You think you're so smart," he spat. "You've been playing us all." "No," I said, my voice calm. "I've been playing the long game, and I've won." I turned to the board. "I expect accountability," I said, my voice taking on a professional tone. "I want a full investigation into these allegations, and I expect swift action." I then turned to Ethan. "Ethan," I said, my voice softening slightly, "your role at Sterling Ventures is terminated, effective immediately. I hope you can learn from your mistakes." I paused, my gaze softening slightly. "But the door may be open to you in the future. You can earn your role back if you prove worthy of it." The meeting broke up in a flurry of activity. Ethan stormed out, head down, his career and reputation shattered. My parents followed him, their faces a mixture of confusion and shame. I was left alone in the boardroom, the weight of the revelation settling over me. The Austin skyline, visible through the window, glittered in the twilight. The music box sat on the table, a silent reminder of the quiet strength I had always possessed. I had won, but the victory felt hollow. The cost of it was very high. The immediate aftermath was a tidal wave. The board members, previously dismissive, now swarmed me with apologies and fawning praise. Mr. Henderson, who'd always treated me with a polite distance, practically tripped over himself to offer his unwavering support. Ms. Chen, who'd subtly undermined my proposals, now lauded my brilliant strategic mind. It was nauseating. Ethan, pale and defeated, avoided eye contact. He tried to speak to me, but the words wouldn't come. His face was a mask of disbelief, his carefully constructed persona shattered. My parents, on the other hand, were a different story. They cornered me in the hallway, their faces a mixture of shock and a strange, almost desperate attempt at reconciliation. "Olivia, we didn't know," my mother stammered, her voice trembling. "We're so proud of you." The words felt hollow, a pathetic attempt to rewrite history. My father, usually the stoic one, looked genuinely lost. He mumbled something about being blindsided and how he just wanted what was best for both of us. I cut off contact. I responded to my parents' attempt at reconciliation with a simple text: "I need space." I fired Ethan the next day, but I offered him a way to prove his value. I told him that if he could work his way up from entry level, he could earn a role again. That night, I went home to my penthouse overlooking the city. I poured myself a glass of wine, the city lights twinkling below. The silence was broken only by the hum of the air conditioning. The satisfaction was there, a deep, quiet contentment, but it was mixed with a strange sense of loss. The family dinners would never be the same. The relationships, once defined by unspoken tensions, were now fractured beyond repair. I had sacrificed authenticity for control, and now I was reckoning with the price. I found myself thinking about Ethan. His ambition, however misguided, had been a constant source of frustration. He had been so eager to prove himself, so blinded by his own ego that he had failed to see the truth. I had been playing the long game, and now he had paid the price. I found myself almost pitying him. I did have my satisfaction. Watching Ethan's face fall, seeing the board's sycophantic dance, was a small, cold comfort. The irony was rich. He had spent years basking in the reflected glory of my success, completely oblivious to the source. Now, he was left with nothing. I felt relief. The constant pressure of maintaining the charade was gone. I was free to be myself, to lead Sterling Ventures without the constraints of secrecy. I was no longer the unassuming CSO. I was the owner, the architect of the empire. The coming weeks brought a new reality. Board meetings were different. My decisions were no longer questioned. They were scrutinized with a newfound respect. The company culture shifted. The quiet whispers of doubt were replaced by a chorus of admiration. There were unexpected consequences, too. Old friends, once casual acquaintances, now sought to ingratiate themselves, their motives transparent. New relationships, formed on the foundation of my newfound power, felt shallow, transactional. I adjusted to the new dynamics. I established clear boundaries, surrounding myself with people I could trust, those who had always seen me for who I was, regardless of my status. I learned to navigate the treacherous waters of power, balancing decisiveness with empathy, ambition with humility. The incident changed the way I saw the world. The experience taught me a valuable lesson: the importance of authenticity, of being true to oneself, even in the face of adversity. The long-term consequences are still unfolding. I know Ethan is working on rebuilding his life. He's enrolled in an MBA program, and I've heard he's doing well. My parents will never fully understand what I've done. The relationships will always be strained. But Sterling Ventures is thriving. My influence in the tech world is now undeniable. The Austin skyline, viewed from my office window, is a constant reminder of my hard-won victory. The legacy I'm building extends far beyond the confines of a family feud. It is etched in every project, in every innovation, in every life I touch. And that, I realized, is the true measure of success. The phone buzzed on my desk, a persistent tremor disrupting the quiet hum of the office. It was a message from my father. "Can we talk, Olivia? About everything?" I ignored it, letting the notification fade into the background. The guilt, the ache of estrangement, it was a dull weight, a constant companion. I knew I needed to address the communication at some point, but the timing felt wrong. The future of Sterling Ventures needed my immediate attention. The phone rang again, this time a call from my assistant. "Mr. Sterling is on the line," she announced, her voice neutral. I hesitated. Then I took a deep breath and accepted the call. "Ethan, I presume?" "Olivia," he said, his voice tight. Can we meet?" I was expecting this. I knew he was working hard, studying, networking. He had a long way to go, but at least he was trying. "I'm busy, Ethan," I replied, my voice professional. "But I'm willing to give you a chance. If you want to earn a position at Sterling Ventures, start from the bottom and prove your worth. But I have to give you this warning: you'll be under a microscope. You'll be judged on merit alone. You can't lean on family this time." "I understand," he said, his voice softer, more subdued. I wanted to apologize for everything." "Apologies are a start," I said, "but actions speak louder than words. I'll be watching." The next day, Ethan started. He was quiet, diligent, and surprisingly eager to learn. He was humbled, but it was the beginning of a new chapter. The office buzzed with a sense of transformation. I found my team, and those I'd trusted, approached me differently. They were more open, more candid. There was no more need for pretense or caution. I started a new project. It was the most ambitious project of my career, a project that would define my legacy. I had a team of experts, and together we would be a transformative force. I named it Project Phoenix, a symbol of rebirth, of transformation, of rising from the ashes. The phone calls from my parents continued, a persistent reminder of the fractured relationship. I finally agreed to a meeting, a tentative step toward mending the broken bonds. I knew it wouldn't be easy. I had spent years building a wall between us, a shield to protect myself from their judgment and their expectations. The meeting was awkward. My parents, in their own way, expressed their regret and offered their apologies. I heard their attempts at empathy. My father was unusually quiet. My mother shed a few tears, the same ones she cried when I was a child. I listened, but I couldn't forgive, not completely. The wounds were too deep. "We just want what's best for you," my mother said, her voice cracking. "We should have seen your talent, your drive. We should have supported you." "You're the most successful person in the family," my father said. "You have accomplished more than Ethan has." "I don't need your approval," I said, my voice firm. "I have built my own success. The past cannot be changed. We can either learn from the experience or we can continue to repeat the same mistakes." We parted ways, the future of our relationship uncertain. I knew it would take time, perhaps years, for the wounds to heal. The weight of their actions was still with me. The meeting was a step, a small one, but a step nonetheless. I knew the path to reconciliation would be long and winding, filled with challenges and setbacks, but I was ready. I was used to it. I went back to Project Phoenix, ready to make it happen. Project Phoenix was not just a business venture. It was a statement, a declaration of independence. It was a testament to the resilience of the human spirit. The image of the Austin skyline, viewed from my office window, served as a constant reminder of all I had achieved. I had built an empire. I had defied expectations. I had proven myself. I had won. But the victory had come at a cost. The journey wasn't over. It had just begun. The city lights, a million tiny beacons mirroring the ambition that burned within me, now reflected in the polished glass of my office. I had carved my name into the Austin skyline, a testament to resilience, to the quiet roar of a spirit underestimated for too long. The silence of this space, once a haven for secrets, now hummed with the echoes of a hard-won victory. I gained control, a sharp, exquisite edge that shaped my destiny. I gained respect, but at the cost of genuine connection. Ethan, humbled, starts anew under my eye. My parents remain at a distance. But the greatest loss? Perhaps the illusion of a loving, supportive family. The true reward was not in proving others wrong, but in the unwavering affirmation of my own worth, built on a foundation of silent strength. The future is a tapestry woven with ambition and consequence. And to you, who has ever felt the sting of being underestimated, the quiet fire of knowing your truth when the world doubts it. Remember the Austin skyline, the reflection of your strength. Remember the power of a secret and the courage it takes to reveal it. Know that the true measure of success lies not in what the world sees, but in the unwavering belief in the story you write for yourself. Your story is waiting.